Part 2, A Spark of Hope. The Starblade was a marvel of human engineering, a sleek vessel designed for exploration and discovery. As Kayla stepped aboard, she was overwhelmed by the sheer size and complexity of the ship. The corridors were lined with advanced technology, and the crew moved with a sense of purpose that she had never seen before. Marcus introduced her to the crew, a diverse group of individuals from various species. There was Jorik, a towering reptilian engineer with a knack for fixing anything, Lyra, a brilliant Elorian scientist whose calm demeanor masked a fierce intellect, and Tarek, a gruff but loyal security officer who had seen his fair share of battles. The crew greeted Kayla with polite nods, but she could sense their skepticism. To them, she was just another Zion, a species known for their menial labor, not their contributions to interstellar exploration. But Kayla was determined to prove them wrong. "Welcome aboard, Kayla," Marcus said, leading her to the ship's bridge. "This is where the magic happens. I want you to learn everything you can about how this ship operates. You have a sharp mind, and I believe you can be an asset to this crew." Kayla nodded, her determination growing with each passing moment. She spent the next few days shadowing the crew, learning the intricacies of the ship's systems. She absorbed every piece of information like a sponge, asking questions and taking notes. But not everyone was convinced. Tarek, in particular, was skeptical of her abilities. "Why are we wasting time with her?" he grumbled to Marcus one day. "She's just a Zion. What can she possibly contribute?" Marcus fixed Tarek with a stern look. "Don't underestimate her, Tarek. I've seen something in her that I haven't seen in a long time. Give her a chance." Tarek reluctantly agreed, but Kayla could feel his eyes on her as she worked. She knew she had to prove herself, not just to Tarek, but to the entire crew. Her opportunity came sooner than she expected. During a routine mission to survey a nearby star system, the Starblade encountered a malfunction in its navigation system. The ship was thrown off course, and the crew scrambled to fix the issue before they drifted too far into uncharted space. Jorik and Lyra worked tirelessly to repair the system, but the problem was more complex than they had anticipated. As time ticked by, the tension on the bridge grew palpable. "We're running out of time," Lyra said, her voice tinged with frustration. "If we don't fix this soon, we could end up in a dangerous part of space." Kayla, who had been observing quietly, stepped forward. "May I take a look?" Jorik raised an eyebrow but nodded. "Be my guest." Kayla examined the navigation console, her keen eyes scanning the intricate web of wires and circuits. She remembered something she had read in the ship's manual about a similar issue. Without hesitation, she began to reroute the system, her hands moving with precision and confidence. The crew watched in awe as the navigation system came back online, the ship's course stabilizing. "How did you do that?" Lyra asked, her voice filled with admiration. Kayla shrugged modestly. "I just remembered something from the manual. It was a long shot, but it worked." Marcus smiled, a proud glint in his eyes. "I told you she had potential." Tarek, who had been watching from the sidelines, approached Kayla. "I owe you an apology," he said, his voice gruff but sincere. "I underestimated you, and I was wrong. You're a valuable member of this crew." Kayla felt a surge of pride. For the first time, she felt like she belonged. The crew's skepticism had turned into respect, and she knew she had earned her place on the Starblade. As the ship continued its journey, Kayla's confidence grew. She began to take on more responsibilities, her quick thinking and resourcefulness proving invaluable to the crew. But she knew this was just the beginning. The stars held countless mysteries, and she was ready to explore them all. Little did she know, the greatest challenges were yet to come. The galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place, and Kayla's journey was far from over. Part 3, Trials Among the Stars. The Starblade had been traveling for weeks, venturing deeper into uncharted space. The crew had grown closer, their initial skepticism toward Kayla replaced by genuine respect. She had proven herself time and time again, her quick thinking and resourcefulness saving the crew from more than one perilous situation. But the galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and danger lurked around every corner. One day, as the ship approached a distant planet, the sensors picked up unusual energy readings. The planet was shrouded in a dense, swirling atmosphere, and the crew debated whether to investigate further. "This could be a waste of time," Tarek said, his arms crossed. "We don't even know what's down there." "Or it could be something incredible," Lyra countered, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. "We won't know unless we check it out." Marcus turned to Kayla. "What do you think?" Kayla hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "I think we should take a closer look. We're explorers, after all. This is what we do." Marcus smiled. "Agreed. Let's prepare for landing." The crew suited up and descended to the planet's surface in a small shuttle. The atmosphere was thick and oppressive, and the landscape was unlike anything they had ever seen. Towering crystalline structures jutted out of the ground, glowing with an eerie light. As they explored, Kayla noticed something strange. The ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with energy, and the air was filled with a low, humming sound. "This place is alive," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. Before anyone could respond, the ground began to shake. The crew scrambled for cover as a massive creature emerged from the shadows. It was unlike anything they had ever encountered, a towering, insect-like being with glowing eyes and razor-sharp claws. "We need to get out of here," Tarek shouted, drawing his weapon. But the creature was fast, and it lunged at the crew with terrifying speed. Kayla's heart raced as she dodged its attack, her mind racing for a solution. "We can't fight it head-on," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to outsmart it." She noticed that the creature seemed to be drawn to the energy pulses in the ground. If they could disrupt those pulses, they might be able to distract it long enough to escape. "Leora, can you create a feedback loop in the energy grid?" Kayla asked, her eyes locked on the creature. Leora nodded, her fingers flying over her portable console. "On it." As Leora worked, Kayla and Tarek kept the creature at bay, dodging its attacks and drawing its attention away from the others. "Got it," Leora shouted, pressing a final button. The ground beneath the creature erupted in a burst of energy, causing it to stagger and roar in pain. The crew seized the opportunity, retreating to the shuttle and launching back into orbit. As they returned to the Starblade, the crew was silent, the adrenaline of the encounter still coursing through their veins. "That was too close," Tarek said, his voice uncharacteristically quiet. "But we made it," Kayla replied, her voice filled with determination. "And we learned something valuable. This galaxy is full of dangers, but it's also full of opportunities. We just have to be ready for whatever comes our way." Marcus placed a hand on Kayla's shoulder. "You handled that like a true leader. I'm proud of you." Kayla felt a surge of pride, but she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and there were countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. As the Starblade continued its journey, Kayla couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. She had faced danger and emerged stronger, and she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them. But little did she know, the greatest challenge of all was yet to come. The galaxy held secrets that would test her in ways she never imagined, and her journey was far from over. Part 4, The Galactic Council's Wrath. The Starblade had been traveling for months, exploring distant star systems and uncovering the secrets of the galaxy. Kayla had grown into her role as a valued member of the crew, her confidence and skills earning her the respect of everyone on board. But as the ship ventured deeper into uncharted space, they began to notice something troubling. Strange signals were emanating from a remote sector of the galaxy, signals that didn't match any known technology. The crew debated whether to investigate, but Marcus was adamant. "This could be something big," he said, his eyes gleaming with determination. "We need to check it out." As the Starblade approached the source of the signals, the crew was met with a shocking sight. A massive space station loomed before them, its sleek, angular design unlike anything they had ever seen. But what was even more shocking was the symbol emblazoned on its side, a symbol that belonged to the Galactic Federation. "What is this?" Kayla asked, her voice filled with confusion. "Why would the Federation have a station out here, in the middle of nowhere?" "I don't know," Marcus replied, his brow furrowed. "But something doesn't feel right." The crew docked with the station and began to explore. The interior was eerily silent, the corridors empty and devoid of life. But as they ventured deeper, they began to uncover evidence of something sinister. Files and data logs revealed that the station was a secret research facility, conducting experiments on alien species and developing advanced weapons. The crew was horrified by what they found, but before they could react, they were ambushed by a squad of Federation soldiers. "You shouldn't have come here," the squad leader said, his voice cold and menacing. "This is classified information. You've seen too much." The crew fought back, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. Just as it seemed like all hope was lost, Kayla had an idea. "We need to expose this," she said, her voice filled with determination. "If we can get this information to the public, the Federation won't be able to hide anymore." Marcus nodded. "Do it." Kayla accessed the station's communication systems, sending the data to every news outlet and independent journalist she could find. Within moments, the information began to spread across the galaxy, sparking outrage and disbelief. The Federation soldiers, realizing what had happened, retreated, leaving the crew alone on the station. "We did it," Kayla said, her voice filled with relief. "We exposed the truth." But Marcus's expression was grim. "This isn't over. The Federation won't take this lightly. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." As the crew returned to the Starblade, they knew that their lives had changed forever. They had uncovered a dark secret, one that would shake the galaxy to its core. But they also knew that they had done the right thing, no matter the cost. Kayla felt a sense of purpose she had never known before. She had started this journey as a forgotten dreamer, but now she was a fighter, a leader, and a beacon of hope for those who had been overlooked and dismissed. But the galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and the challenges ahead would test her in ways she never imagined. The Federation's wrath was coming, and Kayla knew that she and the crew of the Starblade would have to stand together to face it. Part 1: The Forgotten Dreamer. The Galactic Federation was a vast alliance of species, each contributing their unique strengths to the collective. Among them were the Xian, a small fox-like race known for their agility and keen senses. Despite their talents, the Xian were often overlooked, seen as little more than servants or laborers by the more dominant species. Kayla, a young Xian woman, knew this all too well. She had spent her entire life working in the shadows, her worth dismissed by those around her. Orphaned at a young age, she had been forced to work in the bustling markets of the Federation's capital, selling trinkets and scraps to survive. Despite her intelligence and resourcefulness, she was invisible to most, just another face in the crowd. But Kayla had dreams. She dreamed of exploring the stars, of discovering new worlds, and of making a difference. Those dreams seemed impossible, given her circumstances, but she held on to them tightly. Every night, she would gaze up at the stars, imagining what it would be like to travel among them. One day, as Kayla was setting up her market stall, a commotion caught her attention. A group of Federation officials was escorting a human through the market. Humans were a rare sight in the capital, and this one stood out. He was tall, with a commanding presence, and his eyes scanned the crowd with a sharp intensity. Kayla couldn't help but watch as the human approached her stall. He paused, his eyes locking onto hers. For a moment, she felt as if he could see right through her, as if he could see the dreams she had buried deep inside. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice firm but kind. "Kayla," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm Captain Marcus Drake," he said, extending a hand. "I'm looking for someone with your skills. How would you like to join my crew?" Kayla's heart raced. This was the opportunity she had been waiting for, the chance to escape her life of hardship and chase her dreams. But she hesitated. She had been overlooked and dismissed her entire life. Why would this human, a captain no less, see any value in her? "Why me?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Because I see potential in you," Marcus replied. "Potential that others have overlooked. I believe you have what it takes to make a difference in this galaxy." Kayla's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in her life, someone saw her for who she truly was. She took a deep breath and nodded. "I'll do it," she said, her voice steady. And with that, Kayla's life changed forever. She left the market behind and joined Marcus on his ship, the Starblade. As they prepared for their first mission, Kayla couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and fear. She was stepping into the unknown, but for the first time, she felt like she belonged. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would challenge her in ways she never imagined. The stars were calling, and Kayla was ready to answer.